to talk about and show you something that I've been working on personally. Uh, as I get older, I lose a little bit of flexibility that I used to have when I was younger, and I don't feel like my stances are as powerful or as nice as they used to be. Like I feel like I'm slacking off, so I'm trying to develop my leg strength back up and really try to focus on stances and the power of the stances getting back to where I used to be. So I'm going to show you guys something that I've been working on lately to try to dial it back in and see if I can get back to that point that I was at 20 years ago when I was younger. So basically what I'm going to do, I've been working with the kata Heian Nidan, or Heian 2. So working, and the way I do it is, you'll see in Shotokan where when they start the kata out, they'll start it here in a back stance and then continue on, and same with the other side. I don't do it that way. It's not the way that I was taught, and frankly I kind of prefer it the way I do it, with a cat stance. Let's start it out with a cat stance. Now, the reason for this, and this is just an aside, the reason for this, I like the cat stance because when I throw that hammer fist, that technique coming out here, which ordinarily be here, I like to be able to put my forward momentum into it. I like to step into that hammer fist and really push them back. So from here, and step into that horse stance and really use that forearm to push. I feel like it has a lot more power. So, if I do it on the bag, from here, rather than everything coming from here, I don't feel like that has as much power. So I'm really trying to dial in the stances. So we'll take the hands out of it for now, and we'll just start with the cat stance. So what I'm working on is turning my hips first and letting the body follow to get into that stance and really try to dial it in. And then once I'm in the stance, is really settle into it. Try to get it as good as I can. Very little weight on the front foot, so I got that fast kicking. Essentially, basically what I'm doing is I'm just balancing on my back leg. Like, if this foot never even touched the ground. And you'll see it in Karate Kid when he's standing on the pylon at the beach doing the crane stance. It's cat stance, very little weight on the front leg. I can throw a rapid front kick. So I come into that stance, I try to settle it in. I don't want to have, leaning forward. I don't want my butt pushed out to the back. I really want to try to pull the pelvis to the front, make sure I keep my back straight, so I have a straight line down my back running all the way into the ground. I'm a mannequin on a podium. Make sure I keep my shoulders straight ahead and keep everything facing forward. Get that forward momentum going. And then set and slide out into horse stance. And really try to dial that in as well. So once I get into it, really try to lower myself as deep as I can. Take the balls of my hand, palms of my hands, and place them right in that hip joint. Right where the hip meets the pelvis. And then press down. So now that keeps me from wanting to come back up. Because if I try to sit back up, I'm forcing against the downward pressure of my hands. And that really helps out with the leg strength. And make sure I keep my back straight. Keep my pelvis forward. And then same thing coming to the other side. Move right into that cat stance. And try to dial it in. Pelvis forward. Very little weight on the front foot. Mostly all in the back. And again here, I can press down with the balls of my hands right in that hip joint. Fast front kick. And then set down. Slide out, horse stance, come to the other side. And again, pressing down on the hips so that your quad muscles, your thigh muscles, are pressing up against that downward pressure. Really work on the stability, work on the core. You feel this in your legs a lot. Really good. Might even start breaking a sweat. So, I try to dial in every stance like that. From the cat stance, even come from the cat stance out into the forward stance. Really try to dial it in. Bring the pelvis forward. Lock that knee over toe. Lock that back leg. Make sure everything is centered, straight. And again, press down on the hips. Now, we take this even further. This is my 60-pound curl bar. And I want to do the same thing with the stances, now holding the weight. So when I start out, turn the hips. And you'll notice, if you turn the weight first, and the hips have to follow. If you turn the hips first, the momentum will swing the weight around. And then try to dial in that cat stance. I still want to try to keep a straight back. I still want to have the majority of the weight on my back leg. So I can still have that fast front kick. Make sure you breathe. And then I want to slide out into that horse stance. Really try to dial that in. Make sure I keep my back straight. Push my pelvis forward. Really try to settle into the stance. And hold it. You got the weight pushing down on you, and hold it. Don't just fly through the stances. You're never going to build up muscle memory doing that. So move into my next cat stance. Try to dial it in. Weight on the back leg. Fast front kick. Good. And then slide out. Horse stance. And take a moment to breathe while you're here. Relax into it. Good. So that's what I've been working on. Really try to dial in the stances. Now, if you have access to a barbell like this, I'm not saying that you have to use 60 pounds. This is just what I have available. It's all I got. But you can use whatever weight you feel comfortable with. The idea, just try to dial in the stances. You can go through the entire kata doing that. And when you throw the side kick to the rear, really try to dial in that stance when you start to come down the center line. Make sure everything is focused. Make sure everything is centered and balanced. And then hips, and swing it right into that stance. Slide out in that forward stance. Here's where you're throwing a spear hand strike. Really dial in that forward stance. Press down on the hip joints. Make sure you've got a good stance that's strong. So, these are some ideas, things I've been working with to try to dial in. Hopefully this advice helps you. You know, if you like it, feel free to post your own videos. Let me see them. I'd like to see what you do. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you very much.